Creative Moment, Season 7, Episode 7, Lucky Sevens, from your best dressed host of the podcast, Audible Hour. Not that you don't look dapper.
You're just the most jerseyed.
That's fair.
Yeah.
And it's not Jersey weather. Don't blame the Christmas. Don't judge me for the Christmas tree being up, but it's okay. It's all right.
Yep.
We're back. And today we are talking about how creativity, or doing creative things, I guess, in your kind of realm, how that affects the other parts of your life. So let's go ahead and dive right into it. I only have Tropical Dreamer left, so that's what you got.
Yep. On a rainy November, it's like a Guns N' Roses
We
song.
wish we were in
November rain, and we're doing Tropical Cooler.
Dreamer. So we can dream about tropical places.
Yep.
But anyway, what do we mean by that? Well, basically, there are some things that I notice, kind of lifestyle changes that I subconsciously have made throughout the years that are kind of due to not only just my creative workflow, but due to just being creative and kind of like, for example, this one's kind of menial. My pantry is like bare bones all the time. There's never more than like 7 things in it. I organize it. I'm like, oh, the candy should be here, and then we can organize all. I organize my like junk drawers, whatever, because I kind of I like aesthetically how it looks, weirdly subconsciously, and so some of the stuff that I do is building a either lifestyle choice or just a day-to-day type of kind of thing that is not creative, but that I wouldn't do unless I was kind of creative. We all know, like, on a rainy day like this, you want to have, just kind of sit on the couch all day, watch TV. Like, I organize which ambient lights I have on throughout the day. This morning I had just my yellow lights on my Christmas tree, just because I like the way aesthetically it kind of feels, and it fuels me to just be like, let's just sit on the couch and work on the computer. So I think I don't know if we thought of this topic couple seconds ago, but if you have anything specific that comes to the top of your head on what you kind of implement with that, maybe it's a workflow thing, maybe it's a dress thing. I organize my closet in terms of, for my jerseys, I have different hangers for types of jerseys. These are my white jerseys, these are my throwback jerseys. Maybe it's OCD more than anything.
No, because your world is very visual based. And you're always trying to make your products and your posters and your like appeasing to the eye. So you're just subconscious. It totally makes sense. It's just like be organized. When I look in, to the closet, I have tried to do the closet thing. I've tried to do it with my ties. And then I am more of a random poetry and blog when I can, and so I've tried to do that, but no, it just goes to the wayside. I mean, I kind of got organized by style. I mean, my pants are here, my shirts are here. That's about it.
Yeah.
But that's my mindset, though. Also, because you definitely weren't that way when you were little.
No, my room was a mess, and sometimes it can still get a little messy, but for the most part, it's pretty clean. And yeah, I feel like just subconsciously that creativity starts to bleed into other parts of your life. Like even to when I go get groceries or when I go to the bank now, I want to feel like, usually when it's nice out and I one wheel to the bank, I want to feel like the morning air, like the crisp, like breeze, all that stuff. So I'll typically go, like, that's the first thing I'll do when I am ready for the morning, is I'll go on the one wheel to experience some of those creative elements. I mean, yesterday I had a whole, I was outside all day for a photo shoot thing, and I was watching just kind of some football games on my phone, and I just looked up, and it was at Hastings College, if any of you know where that's at. But there's the flag, and then there's all these trees around it, kind of in front of the chapel, and I was like, if I turn my phone off right now, and it was just completely silent, and I get it was very much like we've talked about, being where your feet are moment. I just sat there, and I'm like, how would I build like if I was an not architect, landscaper or whatever, how would I build out this to make it like, how would I build out this type of scenic little, it's just kind of a little park area, whatever. But how would I build this out if it were me? Because I loved how it was built out then, and just how I process like the color science and all this stuff. Where would I put the trees that turn red versus the trees that do? It's just something that intertwines in different parts of your life that you don't always think about, really.
Yeah, and I was when we came up or decided on the topic, there's a couple of things, but just chatting here, I'm like, I don't know if so it's creativity that influences other aspects of my life and stuff, but I don't know if it's because I am like writing poetry and doing stuff, and now I'm that way, or it's just the heart of creativity just kind of bleeding out. And I'm making that distinction a little bit just because you're like your closet as a young kid, and not kids aren't that, but you weren't that focused on the colors and the style, but you are now. But you spent a lot of time. I mean, this is your daily life now, and so it just totally makes sense that got influenced because of your creative work. My example, that one of the ones that's coming up, just because I just wrote a blog post, so it's a really short one, and is about wasting time with Aaliyah. And we're doing a classic.
How long did it take you to get that ball photo?
Oh, not that.
Was it a ball? Right?
Yeah, that's the Pizza Ranch ball.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, but then we started making up Theory Has It game. But then I just started thinking about all the times I've just come up, or we've together like made up games, like in the pool, and made up Shark, and just like because it's like something is in my head the way I think, and stuff like that. And even as a dad, I'd make up small games out there, or tweak, capture the flag at our house. It's not the same rules, but at our house. And so it's more like I feel to that degree for that example is that being creative and allowing the creative spark happening in other parts of your life can enrich it and make for some interesting examples. And some of the games, like our pool games that we've come up with, it's like, oh, that didn't quite work, and then we tweak it and like, oh, that was pretty fun. We just made it up because the creativity that I already have, or a lot of you guys do have, and so it's more like, oh, yeah, this is just kind of cool. It's kind of creative.
So do you think it's which came first, the chicken or the egg moment, where? Because when I go back and kind of think about it, I organize my shirts by color. It goes the order of the color of the rainbow.
Yeah.
Do you think it's more of once you start to realize you're creative, though it starts bleeding into the other aspects of your life, or when you start, I don't know if it's maybe just a self-confidence thing where you're more yourself, whatever, and that's part of growing up.
I think that...
And that starts to lead to discovering that kind of maybe creativity or
the willingness to let your creative spark influence the other things. Because
the way I live is not the way I lived when I was at home, like eating-wise, routine-wise. But I let my routine I let my creativity kind of bleed into my routine.
Yeah.
And part of that's high school, whatever. But there are certain things that I don't do, like get Hot Pockets or whatever. Or like I do not, I don't know what a great example would be. But like when I started getting creative, that's when I started organizing my T-shirts. When I started taking the pictures outside in the driveway.
And see, that delves into really in the aspect, we talked about that, but that some of that creativity didn't happen until you got some of the technology. we had fun with your driveway edits, with your phone.
I still get shamed for those.
No, it's not shame.
Not shame,
but it's like
me and my
like,
friends still laugh.
Yeah, it's like that, and so that creativity wasn't blossomed yet. So therefore, your areas of life were just influenced by rules or regular routine. But I'm not trying to sound egotistical, but even as a dad, I think my creativity has helped me as a dad. Remember the first time I tried to make the brownie and blueberry muffin dessert on my own?
Roughly.
Yeah. You were, I think, second, third grade. Anyway, but I would come up with these things, and just because it's something different, it's has a foundation, it's brownies and it's muffins. And I'm just going to try to mix them without really any education in baking and cooking. The first batch, I don't know if you actually remember, the first batch, the muffin went into it, so the brownie kind of went to the side, and it was really, it's still, everybody ate it. Yeah. It was still good, but it wasn't quite what I had imagined. And so in that case, when I became a dad, I was already been a writer since, and so that I was open to go ahead and let a creative spark, whatever it might have been, just go with it and see what happens.
Yeah, and I think if you are kind of looking for, if you have kind of a itch, I guess, to scratch creatively, but you don't really know where to go with it or what kind of, maybe this is even a style question, look at the parts of your life that maybe are different than what you're used to or quirky, and then see, okay, am I more of a kind of, like you said, you're kind of all over the place, whatever, with maybe that now is not your style, but like that relates more to you, and kind of you have all these notebooks just kind of writing everywhere. Not that I don't mean that's bad. I'm not very organized.
Yeah, there are writers who got Google spreadsheets, and and I'm like, I can't remember exactly where I submitted that one. I have to go.
And like my photo style is very colorful, and in 7th and 8th grade, I used to wear super bright. We spent probably over $500 on socks. Of all my gosh! Colors.
Yeah, but this sock game was pretty tight back then.
It was.
It's not now. It doesn't seem.
No, I don't wear them anymore. But like stuff like that nobody else was going out and buying a $17 pair of pink and blue socks, whatever. So recognizing those parts of your life or routine that maybe are kind of different, and discovering that, and maybe implementing kind of those undertones into whatever creative outlet you use can maybe help develop more of a concrete style for your work.
Yeah, it was kind of a reverse construct of it, because if you get roadblocks, we all kind of situations like that we try to come with that, but looking at other aspects of your life and where are some of the things that you enjoy or have a quirkiness or even like my one example of cooking, but I've come up with lots of different, and we joke at our house at we got 102 pizza recipes. So even though it's still pizza, but we have just created,
push the envelope.
We've pushed the envelope in creativity of how we can enjoy pizza in lots of different ways.
Pizza biscuits, pizza bake, pizza cupcakes,
grilled pizza sandwiches,
grilled pizza.
Oh, you haven't had those in a while, have you? So it's kind of an interesting phenomenon to look at that, and I do think sometimes people have to feel that let it spark in other areas, many creative people, and not everybody, but to a degree, I wonder if all creatives actually feel comfortable in other creative areas, or they've not experienced that. Like Stephen King plays music, Langston Hughes. Langston Hughes wrote newspaper articles, children's stories. I mean, I know it's still writing to do, but yeah, it wasn't all just Harlem Renaissance and
portraits versus landscapes.
Yeah, it's just like he has a vast array of material to read that is very different. And sometimes I think when you get to that point that you're okay being creative in any kind of way that your spirit, I think you're very close to being who you really are. And you're okay with failing. My first batch of, the brownie muffin dessert thing, but it's like, it's okay,
And you have to stop me if you've heard this before. Peter McKinnon has a video where he talks about, because he does almost strictly now just film photography instead of digital stuff, and he talks about burnout, whatever, but being okay with being able to evolve what that looks like if Stephen King just all of a sudden was just a children's book author or whatever, that can be a roadblock sometimes, that people are like, oh, you've changed or whatever, this isn't you. And that's what Peter McKinnon was running into when he started the film thing, is people were saying, I miss the old Peter McKinnon, whatever, but he's famous. But a lot of times it can be, you have to have the confidence to be able to realize that everything is fluid, and to be okay with if you sense kind of a change in that space, whether it's your life or the creative world, to be able to just flow into that, or just kind of dip your feet in every bucket and just be okay with being kind of diverse, I guess.
Yeah, because we've talked about fear and doubt and other stuff, but when you got that spark, and maybe because I'm also an artist, I can draw, I can do but if you got that spark in some other part of life, whatever it actually might be, maybe you want to design a shirt, and you're like, well, I write novels and stuff, but honestly, you're probably your character development, and you're like, then do it, because we can step away from ideas, one, because of social influence, or the fear, is anybody going to like this, or I'm not good enough, I don't have the skill set, which to me though is exciting. If I got an idea and I don't have the skill set, it means I get to learn something new, and that actually, I love that adventure. Doesn't mean I become great at it, but it's still I get to venture into a new field. I'm a much better cook than I was when I started, being a dad and things along that line.
I years ago just wanted to learn how to spring cards.
Yeah.
And I spent just hours, and my thumb was so sore at the end of it. But that just that's another sense of, I really enjoy learning, not necessarily sleight of hand, although I do. Yeah, I want to learn some of that, and I know a couple tricks. They're lame, but just learning to manipulate cards with one hand, or spring the cards, or whatever. I like the diversity of that, and kind of just I feel kind of creative being able to push one card with one hand from the front of the deck to the middle of it, stuff like that. But if I was cards, spring cards, that's not impressive, or no one cares. People think that's stupid. People think everything's stupid. But that's just another example of, I am I'm okay in my skin if people do. I did it at school for the longest time. Yeah. I would just spring cards in class.
I remember that time period. And actually, I was thinking, and it's okay that it comes and goes when you get an obsession for a while, and learning that. But it came back because you used that skill set in a hype video.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So it's basically our advice is, if you got a spark for creativity and other aspects of life, just let it roll with it. If you're kind of feeling stuck, and pay attention. What are some of the things that spark your spirit on your other realms of your life right now? And maybe it's new music, a new band that you're listening to, even those things that bring you joy, and really listening, to them. I mean, holy cow, I love when I read a book or I listen to a new song and a line, and I'm like, my brain goes, ooh, oh, poem. And so the other aspects of our lives can be expressions of our creativity, but also help us in our main areas that we are focused on.
Yeah.
And it's fun.
Yeah, I mean, try everything once. Like, that's a famous quote. You will rarely go, like, if you try 5 new things, if you're open to the idea, you'll rarely go 5 things in a row without liking at least one of them for a little bit.
Yeah.
And that just kind of diversifying your personality portfolio, I guess, is never a bad thing. And again, you find out what you like, don't like, whatever. And like you just said, I used that random kind of pointless skill to create what I thought was a really cool like ending to one of my videos years down the line. And so some of that stuff can be used, that stuff outside of creativity can be used then later or, just as kind of a hobby or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was what will be our election night podcast. Sorry we didn't talk Trump, Kamala. It's okay.
Yeah.
We're not a political podcast, and there's not much creativity with the election. But anyway, that was Season 7, Episode 7 of The Creative Moment. We are getting into kind of our holiday season, so be expecting some more creative-themed podcasts here. I don't know if we did anything for Thanksgiving last year, but like our Christmas and our New Year's, we did what we're thankful for, I think.
Yeah.
So some holiday episodes coming up here soon. So make sure you subscribe wherever you watch or listen to these so you can stay caught up with us. And as always, thanks for listening. We'll see you guys in a couple weeks.